broadcasting miracle, it's Eamonn Holmes. He waxes satirical, it's Hugh. And their team captain, Lee Mack. And facing on tonight, I can't say his name, it's Peter Serafinowicz. Peep Show fame, it's Olivia Colman. And their team captain, David Mitchell. But first, permanently damage your balances in appreciation of your host, Angus Dieter.
Good evening and welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show that conceals more harsh truths than Anne Robinson's surgeon. Lie detector tests are the best known way of telling if someone is lying. They measure blood pressure, perspiration and GMTV ratings. And the most common lies told to cover up a mistake at work include, I never got the email, it wasn't my responsibility, and, well, he looked like a terrorist. And so to round one, Home Truths, where our panellists take it in turns to read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make it extra difficult, they haven't seen the card yet, so don't know if it contains a truth or a hideous lie that we've just made up for them. It will become clear in due course. 28 minutes normally does it. Eamonn gets the short straw and is therefore first, so Eamonn, fire away.
I have an identical twin called Jimmy. Jimmy lives in Canada.
Jimmy Holmes.
Jimmy Holmes.
Jimmy Holmes.
James, actually. He was christened James.
Right.
What does he do there?
He sells insurance. He does. And I'll tell you where he sells it. He sells it in that CN Tower in Montreal.
Right, wow.
Who was born first?
Jimmy was out by 2 seconds or so before me.
2 seconds?
Wow. So what are the differences between you? Would you look absolutely identical, or...?
He's very handsome as well, yeah.
Is he married?
Yes.
What's his
Eleanor.
wife? Oh. Do they have children?
Yes.
What are they called?
I don't know. They live in Canada. I don't really know.
But do you sort of have that twin thing of, you know, if Lee were to punch you in the face, would he, you know, wake up in Canada worrying about making his insurance targets, but in fact it would be because Lee'd hit you? You must be in constant pain being separated from your twin by thousands of miles and, you know, huge amounts of relative celebrity. Because he's very well known for his insurance work, I believe.
Apparently he sits next to a woman in the insurance office that he really doesn't like called Andrea Turner. Is that true?
Half true. What would be great is if we all said lie, and then you said, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Holmes!
But when you look round, Eamonn wasn't there. He just slid round the back.
So, David, and co.
I think lie.
Yeah,
Lie.
clearly it's a lie, yeah.
We think it's a lie.
They're saying it's a lie. Eamonn, reveal the truth.
Thank God it's a lie.
It is a lie. Yes, it is a lie. Eamonn does not have an identical twin called Jimmy, who lives in Canada. Canada is, of course, the home of Celine Dion, Bryan Adams and Shania Twain, and to think we wasted our time bombing Iraq. Peter, your home truth.
Okay. In an advert starring Pele, my voice was passed off as his voice.
What was the advert about?
It was a...
Yes. Was it about football?
You know, it was about a medical thing.
It wasn't this advert that Pele did for impotence, was it?
Yes, it was.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Because he famously did an advert for impotence, didn't he, Pele?
What, for people who wanted to be impotent? How does that work?
Tired of being a slave to your cock? Cut it off and eat it. Like Pele.
Why have I never seen this advert? Where did you see this advert?
Well, Pele did an advert for impotence about 5 or 6 years ago. That bit is true. Yeah. I mean, that bit is absolutely
I'm not
true.
really in the target market, you know what I mean?
Yeah, hang on, to be fair, I wasn't sitting at home after Coronation Street going, shh, this is for me. Did you do like a slogan or something at the end? Or the whole voice was you?
It was mostly me, yeah.
Why wasn't it Pele?
Because he's got a really quite a thick Bristol accent.
What did you have to say?
It was something like, after a football game, the players like to talk to each other about a lot of things, but one thing they don't like to talk about is erection problems.
So, Lee and team.
Well, he does. I think he does lots of voice work, doesn't he?
That's
Do you
an
do-
absolute lie, Hugh.
I think he did it. I think he did. I thought Pelly's English is not good.
I think he's telling the truth.
OK, well then I will go with my team and say that
OK, they're saying
Peter
it's
is in fact
true.
the voice of impotence.
Right. Peter, tell us all.
And you're the voice of impudence. It's true.
Yes, it is true. Peter was the voice of Pele in his advert for male impotence. Companies think carefully about who should endorse their products. If it's men's cosmetics, they get David Beckham. If it's women's fragrance, they get Scarlett Johansson. And if it's frozen sheep's offal in batter, they get Kerry Katona. So, Hugh, your fascinating factoid.
Kellogg's offered me a job in their development department after I sent them a list of new cereal ideas.
Okay. Right, give us a rundown of some of the cereal ideas you sent.
I sent them various ideas for sugar puffs. The problem with sugar puffs is that they float. You can't fill a bowl with sugar puffs because the sugar puff. Yeah. So you basically have a bowl of milk, don't you? And the sugar puffs all rise to the top.
Are you saying if you fill a bowl with sugar puffs and then put the milk on, the buoyancy of the underlying sugar puffs forces the ones on the top out of the bowl?
No, it doesn't force them out of the bowl, but
They float.
But they float. You can't get much milk in. You can't get as much milk as you want in, or if you put too much milk in, they do go.
So one of the things was a new heavier sugar puff.
Yeah, and it was
How
a
did you
sugar puff.
propose to do that, then?
Yeah.
You put a raisin in them.
How would you get the raisin inside? Because, like, a raisin is, like, the same size as a sugar puff. How would you get that inside?
All sugar puffs are, they're puffed wheat, aren't they? So you get a kernel of wheat and you blow air into it, so it just goes. That's all it is. It's no good for you. So if at the point that you go, you fire a raisin into it. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it?
And they offered you a job.
They offered me a job developing solutions to problems with cereal.
What are the problems?
The problems are that cornflakes go soggy too quickly.
And what was your solution? Lamination.
So they look. So it is essentially finding a way of making them a bit more like a Frosty, but without covering them in sugar, because there's a health aspect to a cornflake that there isn't to a.
So I've always thought that with
Frosty.
Cocoa Pops, when they first made Cocoa Pops, they put milk on it and they thought, oh no, all the colour's running. And then someone went, no, we can turn this to our advantage. I don't know, I'm believing this.
Yeah, me too.
You seem to know quite a lot about your cereal.
I think we think it's true.
Yeah,
OK, they're saying it's true. Hugh, truth or tripe?
It's a lie.
It's a lie. Kellogg's did not offer Hugh a job in their development department. The elusive goal of modern breakfast cereal manufacturing is to try and raise the sugar content above its current level of 115%. Our next round is called Ring of Truth, in which I read out some celebrity facts. Our teams decide if they're true or not, and our audience sit there waiting for it all to end. David's team is the first. Wayne Rooney and Colleen McLaughlin got engaged in a petrol station. Is that true?
Wayne Rooney is a man whose skills are vastly overvalued by our society. He can't even count up to the amount of money he's got. And he's going to do a lot of crazy things.
Well, they went out for a Chinese, apparently, and then they decided against it. They pulled into a service station. So they got engaged on the forecourt. And then they went back to Colleen's parents to have corned beef and beans.
The whole meal plan of the evening seems very vague. So they were on their way to Chinese, and the sight of a service station distracted them. But then actually the whole glamour of petrol held them up on the forecourt. So then the proposing happens, and then they say, actually, let's not go and queue up with trays. let's go and impose ourselves on a very strictly catered corned beef and beans evening, meaning no one has quite enough corned beef and beans. It's typical of the thoughtlessness of the youth of today.
They're neither of them that bright, are they? She's launched a perfume, hasn't she?
Oh, yes.
Called Colleen, and then with a little cross after which... maybe a kiss, or maybe because she can't spell her own surname. I'm not sure which.
Yeah. Kalinex. Right, if I could interest you in an answer of some sort at some stage.
You can't really interest me in these people, unfortunately. They will do crazier and more miserable things in their lives than this, so I'm willing to believe it.
It definitely has a ring of truth about it.
I think it's possible.
So, I think, should we say true then?
Yeah,
let's say true.
Saying it's true, and I can tell you it is absolutely true. Yes, Wayne Rooney and Colleen McLaughlin did get engaged in a petrol station. Wayne was the perfect gentleman. He got down on one knuckle and made the sign for ring. It was all very romantic. Wayne then hid the ring inside a reheated chicken pasty, and when Colleen threw up, there it was in her lap. So to Lee's team, who have this to endure.
Pony's coming, watch it, man, pony's coming, watch it, pony's coming, closer, here to get you. Napoleon Bonaparte, Napoleon Bonaparte, you're finished before you can start, 'cause Boney, he never failed. Boney reason, better than a white man reason, track man, better than a black man, track man, stop running, give it away, Boney's coming.
There was a song called Boney. Not many people could carry that song off, and you can now add Rolf Harris to that list. So here is your related fact. Rolf Harris has chosen to be cryogenically frozen when he dies.
They look very similar, those two, don't they?
I'd say they look quite different, those two. If I'm honest, my honest reaction to that photograph is those two organisms look different.
They look like they're about to have a double game at table tennis.
Again, my reaction will be they don't. It looks like a picture of a man and a dog. The man is famous, the dog is a non-entity.
This happened in Desperate Housewives.
Well, they froze someone.
An old lady froze her
Of course
husband,
she did, yeah.
and then there was a power cut.
Yeah.
Terribly smelly.
I saw a film called Desperate Housewives, and none of this happened in the film I saw. The thing is, though, if you cryogenically froze, the idea is that
You can warm them up again.
Yeah, but this is
Well,
what I
what
don't
to do with
understand,
just
because when you defrost yourself, you're back to your original state when you went in, which is dead.
Walt Disney did have it done, hence the phrase Disney on ice.
And Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton is also...
Has she had it done already?
She's paid $150,000 already to the Alcohol Life Extension Foundation. So, Lee, any truth in this at all?
Hugh?
I actually think it probably is true.
I'm not sure, but I think no, maybe no.
Hung jury.
I would say that I think it's a lie. That's what I think.
And I can tell you it is a lie. It is completely untrue. Rolf Harris has not chosen to be cryogenically frozen when he dies. As befits the star of Animal Hospital, he's going to be tearfully put down and buried in a shoebox. So at the end of that round, it's Lee's team who are oozing with confidence, leading as they are 4-2. Onward into round 3 then, and the confusingly titled This Is Mine. Each of Lee's team will claim to have a connection with tonight's mystery guest, but only one is telling the truth. The good news for David's team is they therefore have a 33% chance of success. The bad news is that means failure is the more likely outcome. So please welcome tonight's special guest person, Amanda. So, Lee, what is Amanda to you?
This is Amanda, and she is a woman who gave my dog mouth-to-mouth resuscitation after it was run over by a car.
Eamonn, perhaps you'd like to explain your relationship with Amanda?
Well, as you can see, this is the lovely Amanda, who I know because she was Angelina Jolie's double in Tomb Raider.
And finally, Hugh, what's Amanda to you?
This is Amanda. We came third in last year's Goodwood pantomime horse dash.
So that's the choice. A canine rescuer, according to Lee, a Hollywood stunt woman, if we believe Eamonn, or half a pantomime horse, of which Hugh was the other half. So David's team, your witness.
Lee, where did your dog get into difficulties?
You say difficulties. It was hit by a car, so it was...
Right.
We were on a common near my house, and I let the dog go in the common. He ran out into the road. I went out to chase after him, obviously, and he ran into the road, hit by a car, and...
What, the car punched him?
No, he was, he was hit, and he was out, and luckily Amanda came along and said, hang on, wait a minute, please. He was lying there, and he was motionless, and then Amanda came over and said, can I help you? I said, well, you could have helped by not driving so fast. But then we got over that bit, and she said she felt guilty, so I thought, you know what it's like, you've killed a dog, the least you can do is stick your lips over his nose and mouth and blow.
Amanda was driving the car.
She drove the car that hit him, yeah, and she got out the car to help.
And you kept in touch with the lady who killed your dog?
She didn't kill it.
Oh,
Wait for the end of the story. There's a happy ending.
Oh, good.
That little dog looked at me, looked up like that. After a few minutes of blowing, she was like that. She was using the nostrils, playing it like a recorder. All right, that bit's not true, right? And at first, nothing, just the cheeks were bellowing like that. I said, harder, Amanda, harder. And one big almighty and I saw his little ribs, because he was a greyhound, so you could spot every little bit of windy movement. Yeah. Just rise gently.
All right.
And then there was a cough and a splutter. That was mainly her, disgusting breath. And then the dog just looked up at me and said,
Said, hello, now I can speak.
No, he said,
this lady has blown her soul into me. I'm wise now. And then the dog got in the car and drove off. What was the make of car?
It was a Dalmatian. Oh, car. It was a grey car, I remember that, because I remember thinking, that's ironic, my dog's black and white, combine that and you got a grey car.
Greyhound.
You said greyhound.
It was. Half greyhound, half Dalmatian.
Want to try cross-examining any others?
Sorry, Goodwood pantomime horse dash. I haven't heard those words together before.
Well, essentially, it is a pantomime horse race.
And is that an annual event?
Yeah. And it's at Goodwood.
How did you and Amanda end up in the same horse?
Because Amanda is a friend of my wife, and it was therefore safe for me to be with Amanda.
Who was front, who was back?
I was back.
Were you Bookie's favourite to win?
I'm not sure there was much betting on it, to be honest.
Who did win?
Damon Hill.
He was in a car, though.
Yeah. Eamonn, how do you know Amanda if she's Angelina Jolie's body double?
So I have this thing for Angelina Jolie, not being able to get close to Angelina, didn't return my calls, my letters, anything. I read about Amanda being Angelina's stunt double.
Where did you read about this?
Oh, everywhere. It was well publicised.
I mean, I remember, yeah.
It made 5 minutes on my Saturday Morning 5 Live radio programme. It was very good. Very good interview to be able to talk and meet up with the woman that would be the nearest I would get to Angelina Jolie.
So what kind of stunts did she do then?
Well, she jumps a lot. As a matter of fact, if you watch closely, in Tomb Raider 2, Amanda jumps from an aeroplane and lands in a jeep as Angelina Jolie. So, yes, that's what she does.
What's her surname?
Kemp.
Hugh, what's her surname?
Robertson.
Robertson.
Lee, Don't bother.
Where does Amanda live?
Amanda lives in Oxford. What's funny about that? I'm sorry.
Well, no, actually, I grew up in Oxford, so that it does exist.
Yes.
So David's team is this woman, Lee's dog's lifesaver, Eamonn's movie star stunt double, or Hugh's other half in the pantomime horse?
I have to say, at the moment, what are you thinking at the moment?
I would say, having studied Hugh's techniques over the evening, that I think he's telling the truth. And he was trying a sextuple bluff.
What number bluff is the truth? Infinity bluff. Yeah, well, it's either Hugh or Eamonn.
What, you're dissing Lee altogether?
Well, yes, I'm afraid. If it turns out that's true, then, you know, it's an odder world than I thought.
I'm thinking Eamonn.
Right. Well, I'm going to go
He's
with...
always right.
Yes, well, I'm going to go with Peter, and I also think it's Hugh. I think it's Hugh's pantomime horse.
OK, well, perhaps Amanda would like to reveal her true identity.
I was Angelina Jolie's stunt double in Tomb Raider 2.
You know what the best thing is? If you already got that worked out, we're going to ask you that. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Good work, team. Angelina, of course, recently got an Oscar from Cambodia, along with a Darren, 2 Michaels and a David. All of which means at the end of that round, it's David's team who are praying for a miracle. Behind us they are 5-2. Our final round is quick-fire lies, in which all sense of calm is abandoned in favour of some rapid-fire lying against the clock. As always, our panellists don't know what's written on the cards, and David's team are seriously faltering, so now would be the perfect time to reverse that trend, starting with... David.
I used to be a tour guide for a hat museum.
Where?
In Abingdon.
Why did they need a tour guide in a hat museum?
You were sort of the tour guide stroke person there.
How long was the tour?
You'd probably get a good sense of the place in about... I mean, a very good sense of the place in about half an hour.
Can you remember anything at all that you used to say about any of the hats?
No.
Or a type of hat?
No.
You can't remember the name of one hat, and you were the tour guide in a hat museum?
They had a sort of bowler hat, now top hat, and then they had huge feathery hats.
Just by bizarre coincidence, there's someone at the front row with a sort of bowler hat. Could you just pass the hat to David so he can give us a rough description and history of the bowler hat? Thank you very much. Could you give us a rough idea of how you used to do this tour with that hat? Pretend that's hats on a plane.
Well, what I would do is I would hold this hat up and then sort of twirl it like that.
What kind of people went to the hat museum?
Oh, losers.
I don't think there's an ounce of truth about this story.
No, I don't.
He did it.
You don't believe him, do you?
I do.
So, Lee.
It's true.
Eamonn thinks it's true, but this time I'm going to go with Hugh.
You're saying it's untrue. David, tell us the truth.
True.
It is, in fact, a lie.
Good! Yes, it's a lie. David has never been a tour guide for a hat museum. If you can't imagine what a hat museum is like, then think of a glove museum with half as many exhibits. Next, Olivia.
I once pulled a boy by pretending to be French.
When you say pretending to be French, do you mean with the look, the accent, or the language, or all three?
It was dark.
Right. I like the way you changed the question to how light was it in the room? I'll make my own questions up. Strawberry, that's my favourite jelly. Do you speak French?
Oui?
And what was his name? What was he called?
Johnny.
Johnny. What was Johnny's surname?
Garlic.
Johnny Garlic.
What a bizarre coincidence with the French that was.
Over there.
You didn't think to say,
Garlic.
hello, I am French, what is your name? Johnny Garlic. I can't think of anything to say now because there's no connection.
What point did he work out that you weren't French?
The next day, when I told him I wasn't French.
The next morning, you mean?
No, it wasn't like that. I mean, he was at the same beach the next day.
Where was this?
By the sea.
You missed out the middle word. In what by the sea?
In Cornwall by the sea.
And were you...
That was the place called Cornwall.
Cornwall on sea.
Where in Cornwall?
Where in Cornwall?
Yes, where in Cornwall?
It's right by the sea.
So what was your opening line? What was your chat-up line?
Hello.
What was the second one? Hello again. Do you want to see the Madonna with the big boobies?
Well,
so you think...
I tend to believe it's not.
You don't think it's true?
I think it's
what do you think,
nonsense.
Eamonn?
I think she looks French,
Yeah.
and therefore I think she's double bluffing. I think it's true.
You think it's true? You think it's a lie? OK, we'll say it's true, shall we?
Yeah. OK, Olivia, are you lying through your teeth?
It's true.
Yes, it is true. Olivia did once pull a boy by pretending to be French. Pretending to be French seemed to be working until she blew her cover when she went to the toilet and then washed her hands. Next, Hugh.
At school, I had a fight with Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen.
Who won?
Who do you think won?
Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen.
I won.
What school was this?
This was at school in London.
Oh.
You don't want to say what school?
Well, it was at my school. The
Yeah.
school actually was in a rugby match.
Did he play rugby?
He did play rugby,
Crikey.
but he played for another school, and we had a fight when I was playing on one team and he was playing on the other team. The thing is, I didn't know he was Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen because I knew he was called Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen because he only later became Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen.
OK, so David, you're going to have to come to a decision as to whether Hugh is telling the truth or not.
I think it sounds plausible, but I think it sounds too plausible. So I think he's lying.
So plausible, it's untrue.
Yeah.
The only thing is, Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen, I've never met him, but is he not quite slight?
He's very tall.
Is he
Very big bloke.
You're on the other team. You could say anyone. Ronnie Corbett, huge man.
Ronnie Corbett is a huge man. That's an optical illusion.
He's about 6'4", 6'5". It's only because Ronnie Barker was the largest man who ever lived. So we think it's true.
They're saying it's true. OK, Hugh. True or lie?
Lie.
Yes, it is a lie. Hugh did not have a fight with Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen at school. Hugh wasn't at school in early Renaissance Britain when Lawrence grew up. In fact, Lawrence is, however, an expert in self-defence. He finds it handy when people see what he's done to their houses. Which, in polite interruption, means that at the end of our final round, it's Lee's team who are tonight's Happy Bunnies, having run away with it 8-6. We leave you with the news that people are more likely to lie to you in emails than when talking to you face-to-face, which rather suggests that the Nigerian Brigadier Matubu Onkomawi, who is due to be transferring $84 million into my bank account any day now, may not be a man of his word. Good night.
The divorced dad's in no danger of telling a fib, so why did Granny have to die? The Armstrong and Miller Show follows next. And if you missed last night's Mock the Week or any other comedy show over the last 7 days, catch up on the BBC iPlayer.